Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk about how to improve your English speaking skills. As a non-native speaker, I have been searching for a lot of ways to improve my English speaking, and I want to share some of the tips. Hopefully it can help you. So if you are interested in improve your English speaking, please stay tuned and also watch till the end because I have a bonus tip for you to improve your English speaking. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribe. Please also ring that bell so that you don't miss a beat because I will provide personal development tips every week. The focus of today's talk is in general English speaking. If you have problems speaking up at your work, especially in group discussions, please check my previous video, how to speak up. As I mentioned before, I grew up in China. I came to United States in 2010 for my graduate school. After school, I've been staying in United States for most of the years. Most of my English speaking are focused on work. But recently, I've been starting this YouTube channel, so I have to speak more. And I find it beneficial. And also, I find I start to realize there's a lot of English speaking improvement I can make after I hear my own recordings. There's a lot of reasons you don't speak fluent English. First is the way that we're being taught when we're in school, maybe in high school or middle school. Like in my culture, when we're taught English, we emphasize a lot on grammar, reading, and writing. But there's fairly less stress on speaking. Speaking is also not very easy to grade or score because you have to practice with someone like one-on-one. It's very objective. The second reason we don't speak fluent English as a non-native speaker is we don't have that environment that forces us to speak. Or you can say that we don't practice speaking as much as we should. As a native speaker, when they start to learn language, they have to speak English because that's the environment. Their parents will only speak English to them, so they have the environment and they start to pick up. The third reason that we tend to not be fluent in English is because we're not confident enough. Because of those lack of confidence, that give you even more problems because, again, to speak a language, you have to be just practice. You have to be freely express yourself. With those kind of fears, it made it very difficult for you to express freely. A lot of cases, you will just shut up or you will reluctant to speak up. And that's the killer for any language learning. So after we know those reasons, so here's some of the personal stories that how I force myself to improve my English. Even today, I think there's still a lot of room for me to improve my English speaking. Hopefully some of the tips I will share will be helpful to you guys. So the first one is to practice as much as you can. Like I said, the reason that native speakers sounds more confident or fluent than we are is just because they are practicing way more than what we have, right? It's obvious. So in order for us to be as fluent as possible, what we can do is speak as much as possible. When I was in China, each class, our English teacher will give us some assignment. Some of it is writing an essay, sometimes is make a performance in front of the classmates. I will always be the one that's willing to go on the stage and practice and give the performance. A particular performance is about Lion King. The teachers, the students will give you feedback. Each time after you get those feedback is the way for you to improve next time. And also when in my college time, it's very popular at that time. We have the called English Corner. We will basically what we do is every Thursday night we will go to a place. A bunch of students will gather together to practice English speaking. Divided into smaller groups. Usually we'll pick up a topic and we chime in and start to practice. The first few days you'll feel like a little bit embarrassed because you don't know the other person and you have to speak in front of strangers. And the most awkward thing is we're all Chinese, but you have to speak in English. So English Corner actually is the only source out of class that I speak English in person. So glad that I have those kind of courage to practice in class and also go to English Corner. So I start to gain more confidence on English speaking. So when the opportunities come to studying abroad, I applied and I eventually got an offer to go to Stony Brook University. I still remember the few months that I landed in Stony Brook, Long Island. But we're actually living in a English-speaking country and you start to talk with those native speakers, it's a totally different story. They have a different accent. They are just sound like different than what we're being taught for. There's a lot of linked words that at the beginning I'm very uncomfortable because the way we're taught English is we speak each word separately. But I still find ways to overcome it. I enrolled a ELS class, so as a non-native speaker, most of us are required to enroll this English as second language classes. I benefit a lot from that class. I still remember my English teacher. Her name is Katie. She's a very patient teacher. She actually spent a few years in Asia. I couldn't remember, maybe in China. So she understands the culture. She understands how we feel when we have struggles or why we have certain English speaking problems. So like what I did is pretty much similar when I was in college. I will be very brave to volunteer a lot of performance or speak up, because as I've come from a southern part of China, I have a hard time to differentiate N and L, because in Chinese we will just say the same thing, and now their sounds very similar, right? Like here, after came here, I still have the problem. Sometimes I pronounce N as L or L as N. Like my name, sometimes I say my name. It sounds really weird to native speakers. So after she pointed out those little details that I can improve, what I did is I pick up 100 words that have N and L. Some of them have both N and L inside. Then I will practice and speak in front of her to make sure I'm speaking it correctly. So that's the first thing. Practice as much as possible. Second, you have to keep improving your vocabularies. For most of us, we don't speak up is not because we cannot speak most of the words, it's because just one word we got stuck, so we're afraid to speak out, right? So what I did is, whenever I encounter a new word in my daily life or during work, I will have my Google Translator being open up. Whenever I saw a word, I cannot pronounce it. So pay attention to here. Whenever you see a word, you cannot pronounce it. Doesn't mean you don't know the meaning. Sometimes you know the meaning, but you just cannot pronounce it correctly. What I will do is I will copy and paste it into the Google Translate. First, look at its meaning. Then, listen, how does it pronounced? After you know the meaning of the word and also the pronunciation of the word, that's how I treat it as you know the words now. Then you can use it in your next context. The third one I find is very important is it's similar like practice, but is intentionally expose yourself to English content. Go out of your comfort zone to immerse yourself to the English content. Whether it's go out to hang out with a native speaker or from other countries, because as long as you're not from the same country, you will be forced to speak English. All of us have some hobby or something we're interested. For example, I like watch NBAs. I remember when I was in Portland, Oregon, there was a player named called CJ McCollum. So once you learn some new names, you can talk with your peers, you're at work, right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people like to chat sports in the United States because weather, sports, that's the most safe topic for you to open up conversations. So I would just, talk with my colleagues, native speakers, say, hey, did you watch the game last night? I mean, like CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard dropped like 50 points or so. So just no, this is just example. I mean, you might be interested in beauty, you might be interested in something else. It doesn't matter. Just pick the one that you have interest. Try to watch in an English speaking environment and communicate with your peers. And what it also helps is you have a topic to open up to your conversation. There's another tips that I find is very interesting. I haven't tried myself, but I heard a lot of people say doing it is speech shadowing. For example, maybe it's a speech by Barack Obama, right? A lot of people like his speech. So what you do is you read the speech for multiple times and you start to memorize the speech, and when you play it next time, you speak with him. And you can try to speak the way, the rhythm, the linked words, the tone, everything you can try to mimic. So basically it's shadowing. Next, I think is very important is try to record yourself. By recording and listening to your own pronunciations, you will know what kind of behavior you have when you are speaking. That's a very good way to give yourself feedback, because like when we are listening to our own selves, it will be much different. Trust me, it's not an easy thing to do because it will be sound very awkward to listen your own voice at the beginning. But as you get used to it, you will start to know some of the mistake you are making, and also you will start to speak more fluent because you can correct some of the mistakes. Okay, so here is the last tip I want to share with you. I call it the bonus tip because that's something I recently picked up when I was starting the YouTube channel. Turn on the captions of your video. When you speak, it will show the captions out, right? So sometimes you can clearly say which words the program cannot detect. If the machine cannot understand, it's probably because you didn't do a good job to pronounce it. So I find it helpful because that I will know some of the words that I speak wrong, and I can take a note of it. Then I will go to a dictionary or Google Translator to listen how I should pronounce it. After I correct myself, then I will try to pronounce it in the correct way in my next video. Once I finish this, I will remove these words from my list. Okay, so that's what I want to share with you today. Hopefully it make a difference. So please leave down comments on what are the biggest obstacles that you are experiencing for your English speaking, and what are some of the ways you are trying to improve it. I will see you next time. Bye.